I just think that the stranglehold that Zane has versus this character can only be quenched by someone who many people consider the greatest melee player to ever touch the sticks, thus far at least.
Yeah, I do think the...
Oh!
Wow.
Oh, that's it! Oh, the shine grab, the down air! And that's gonna do it! Magi defeats Zane!
There aren't enough people talking about Sasha Magi Sullivan. I was talking to my wife about who I should cover for the next video in this series, and I mentioned I was considering Magi. My wife said, "You have to do her. You're always talking about dudes in your videos." I am always talking about dudes in my videos. Dudes are everywhere in the Smash community. Women are hard to find. Sometimes I see women in the background of a video. Sometimes I hear them in commentary, but rarely. It's even more rare to see them in the foreground playing. And even rarer than that, to see them competing at the top level. I think some players in the Smash community have a greater importance to the scene in terms of the community's growth or its presentation outside of itself. And I think Magi is one of those players. For better or for worse, this community, and possibly the world, only respects good players. And Magi is one of the best, long-standing, good Smash Bros. Melee players that we have, who is also a woman. The spotlight is on her. This is important because, more than once in Melee's life, we've been afraid for its future. And I'm sure we can maintain some kind of scene for a long time, watching men play, with men in the crowds, men running the tournaments, men sponsoring events and teams, and even more men commentating it all. But to thrive, we're going to need more than just men. We need a myriad of voices and representation at every level of the game. More signposts that tell every single person, hey, this community might be for you. And Magi is the best example of that. As a transgender woman, she's a beacon not only to other women, but the entire LGBTQ+ community. More than that, she's a gateway into more people and more voices coming into Smash, the fighting game community, and gaming as a whole. Despite that, I can't tell you how many matches I watched where the commentators simply didn't commentate on her in what I would consider a meaningful way.
Person getting a lot of respect this weekend. A lot of players singing his praises.
Yeah.
Praises?
Kind of
Good at Mafia too. Definitely better than that.
And while I found a number of articles written about her, the voices attributed to her by her own community were frustratingly, shamefully lacking. I think we can do better. Not just as a community, but as people. So even though this video comes from the perspective of yet another cisgender white dude, if you could forgive that, and I can forgive myself, I'd like to talk about Magi, the future of Melee. Magi is a Falco main from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She started in the Smash community as a Project M player in 2014. Then, after watching the Smash documentary and having a chance meeting with Smash Melee player Taylor H.J. Tongwei in a card shop, she transitioned to Melee.
And he saw me in the same, I wore my Project M hoodie. And he saw me and he was like, hey, you're that Smash kid, right? And from that conversation is how I started to really be put under his wing.
Taylor was the top Melee player in the Louisiana region at the time, and was a pivotal person in Magi's development, who supported and mentored her. Taylor not only helped teach Magi Melee fundamentals and theory, he also impressed upon her a kind of humbleness. In the Louisiana region, there is a strong belief that permeates the community, that being good at the game doesn't make you a good person, and being bad at the game doesn't make you a bad one. This core belief was an important part of Magi's Melee career, especially as she began to outpace everyone in her region. Magi mains Falco. According to Shepard Fiction Lima, in his excellent series on Metafy called Falco Deconstructed, Falco is a Swiss Army knife. Fiction says Falco deals with every character, every situation, a little differently, but he can get everything done in the end. This versatility means that Falco has a very strong neutral game, and a big part of that versatility is Falco's laser. Falco's laser almost dictates the pace of a match. Fiction says your opponent has to deal with Falco's laser somehow. Are they going to shield, jump, take it, spam a move out of it? In a lot of ways, Falco's laser gives him the first move. When described this way, Falco seems like some kind of all-powerful offensive beast. And he is. But he has no chin whatsoever. Using his rich toolset, yes, Falco is good at approaching. But if you screw up just a little bit, that's death. Falco can die at 20 or 30%. Falco's glass cannon nature has kind of created a unique mentality around him where Falco attracts people who want to complain about him.
This is the classic Falco player. Just like lose 2 games, like Falco. You play Falco in the chat, which some of you do. You know that feeling of when you're just like, man,
you get bodied by that fox.
I could beat him if I switch fox.
More specifically in Magi's case, Falco matches Magi's mentality because she has a history of beating her head against the wall to succeed.
Anything that I could succeed in is what I would be very stubborn about, and I would do endlessly to an unreasonable amount. Like, oh, I have a new toy, or like I have a puzzle and I can't really figure it out. So I'm gonna bash my head against it until I do.
Magi is an enormous proponent of tech skill. In her early stream days, she would turn on Uncle Punch and just practice tech skill like ledge dashing for hours while talking to chat. I've always felt like there's this movement in Melee, an idea that there is a perfect, task-like way of playing the game, and it can be achieved with an obscene amount of frame-perfect inputs. Almost I'm gonna button push you to death. Because players are human, and it's even more difficult to execute frame perfection in tournament, we'll never see this style come to fruition. But we do see players, especially in this modern, post-Slippy era of Melee, somewhat striving for it, like Magi.
I think one of the reasons why Magi is historically not that great versus Ice Climbers is because she has so many buttons that she wants to press.
Like laser.
And it's a lot of room to go wrong. Lots of places you can go wrong with 2 Ice Climbers.
Shine was so good.
When I was playing her, I thought getting my openings as 2 Ice Climbers was fairly easy, but once I was Sopo, it was impossible.
But I don't think that Magi necessarily believes that she can achieve this task-like level of play, or that it's the way to succeed. It seems more like she presses so many buttons because it feels good. Magi has said that because of her ADHD, she doesn't get a lot of satisfaction or things that produce dopamine in her life. But she does with Melee.
This game is like a drug to me.
I think Magi is the type of Falco that really likes it when people shield after her lasers.
Really?
That's like the thing she wants to punish.
Uh-huh.
I feel like a lot of people, like, you're supposed to like read what your opponent does and then punish what you think they're gonna do.
Yeah.
But most people just pick their thing that's the most fun for them to punish, and then they punish that as often as they can.
It's actually
Laser's such an offensive tool for Magi. It's not like a zoning tool. It's an approaching tool. It's like a combo tool. I kind of feel like if a laser doesn't have a chance of leading into a shine, Magi doesn't really care about it. You know, like she wants the laser to combo into shine. That's why she shoots lasers.
So that means, if she fires a laser, you shield it, then she quadra-shines your shield and opens you up into a combo, you're making Magi's day more than you know. I think this is a big foundation behind Magi's gameplay. It feels good to hit a high-stake ledge dash. It feels good to combo your opponent. And it feels good to harness your tech skill, training, intuition, and experience, and convert it all into a kill. If this is what Magi is striving for, the rest of her game acts as a counterbalance. She knows that to achieve this button-pressing goodness, she sometimes has to lock down her opponents and remove their options.
So
Fight through.
I played against Magi today, and the big thing that I noticed playing her was that she is just crazy at locking you down. She is she is so good at like removing all of your options. It's so frustrating. It can be so difficult to play around that because like there's no space for you to maneuver. She just takes it all.
She knows that to continue a combo, it's got to be creative.
Magi too, she has such a like unique way of like picking out how she combos. Like her combo routes are like way different than most of our roles.
And she knows that sometimes she has to be patient.
The patience in that tense of a scenario is the mark of a really good player. When you're in a bad scenario like that, you're so tempted to just like really make it happen.
Despite this, I think Magi struggles with impulse control.
She also plays like she has very little self-control because she'll tell me, oh, I can't do early aerials. There's basically no reason to do them. I should do late aerials only, and then immediately start doing late aerials. Or early aerials, sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what you're supposed to be doing, but you can't help yourself.
I think she's just gotten so good that maybe momentary lapses of impulse control matter less. In her notorious Genesis 6 win against Mango, that put her on the Melee map of players to watch, she maintained an almost godlike consistency in her play.
In these kind of stressful, tight situations, she would be hitting ledge dashes perfectly. Like, she would fast fall the ledge, get a crazy ledge dash, and it would be like everything is on the line and she's still able to stay composed and stay so technical. Yeah. And we're still seeing that years later. It's a kind of hallmark of her playstyle, and it's what makes her just so damn good.
And yet, as a transgender woman, Magi's unique background and life experience isn't discussed as much in the Smash community as it should be.
This guy literally told me, after I came out to him, that he would leave his wife and kids for God. Like, that was his bottom line.
In fact, I found it difficult to find any commentary about Magi at all. In my research for Hungrybox, a player who, much of his career, was notoriously hated by the community, I was deeply affected by how frequently it seemed commentators framed the match from HBox's opponents, as if Hungrybox weren't even there. For Magi, it was far, far worse. And it wasn't just the quantity of the commentary, it was the quality. Yes, the commentators talked about Magi in her matches. Yes, this problem of meaningful commentary on Magi lessens from 2022 onward. And I'm not saying it's happening now, but I am saying it did happen then. And we should look at it, acknowledge it, and never repeat it for her or others. I analyzed 6 matches. I wrote down everything the commentators said about Magi, and everything the commentators said about her opponent. Then I added up all the times for both. I came at this from 2 perspectives. On one hand, looking at the quantity of time dedicated to talking about Magi versus her opponent, and on the other, the quality of that commentary. In all these sets, commentators spent more time talking about Magi's opponent than her. And all of these sets had one or more of the following problems for commentary. Framing the match from Magi's opponent instead of her.
That was almost a grab.
Could have been.
Yeah, Ben's just looking to build up 20, 30 more damage, get that knockdown, and turn it into some kind of tech chase.
Focusing on play-by-play for Magi.
And Magi's capitalizing.
While offering deeper, more considerate theorizing about Magi's opponents.
And I think that he's getting away from his strengths in the game. He's not looking at how to actually beat the player. He's kind of just trying to look for a way in and not how to win.
Giving more history on Magi's opponents as people than her.
Actually, Null, you know how he got good? He used to go to Mike Hayes' house.
Oh, wow. Mike Hayes?
Yeah, he would grind there for 10 hours back when Mike Hayes would have his Smash Fest at his place.
And providing more history on Magi's opponents as players than her.
Well, I feel like SFAT doesn't really full hop that much. So I feel like when you don't full hop as much, the stage isn't as good.
And these weren't isolated incidents. Set after set after set, the community talked more meaningfully about Magi's opponents than her. And she deserves better.
Whoa. I don't think Magi meant to down smash, but okay. Definitely a player. I mean, he's something of a friendlies monster. I feel like some days I've even played him and it's just I'm just
back into laser mode. He always talks about how he has no relevant character practice. He plays Young Link and Ice Climbers and Ganon, apparently.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Missed recovery there from Magi. That's kind of an SD there.
I feel like Ginger is being slightly more patient in the neutral, still executing crazy in the punish game, but
I actually think that might have been a good spot to go for a shine. Whenever I play Amsa, I notice as soon as it's kind of almost like fighting Luigi, where the moment you DI something wrong, you're just
pressure forward in the tournament. I think sometimes that plays in a way that's just enough to win, and I think it's more he needs to get in the zone. He needs to start
lots of pressure. I really think it ever turned into a tech chase situation, which is kind of funny. You don't really think of Ben as much of a tech chaser as somebody like Spark or Face Roll.
Sure, yeah. Magi's history and experience in the Smash community is unique. Growing up in Louisiana with extremely religious parents and an Old Testament kind of father who told her that he would leave his wife and kids for God, Magi lived her life trying to please her father and make him proud. She knew that when she came out, when she told her father that she was transgender and was going to transition, that she would be excommunicated from the family. And she was. To this day, Magi carries the weight of those that have supported her on her shoulders, and fights with the fear that she's going to let those people down.
I fear people being disappointed in me.
Taylor, the top Louisiana Melee player who took Magi under his wing, Howard Bonsai Warrior Sai, Magi's longtime doubles partner, Kalindi KJH Henderson, who spent years playing alongside and mentoring Magi, the Louisiana Smash community, Magi's Smash Home and Sanctuary, and the LGBTQ+ community that desperately needs more people in positions of power and influence to act as examples and support for the entire community now and in the future. All these people make up an important component of who Magi is as a player and as a person. And it seems like Magi fights as though all these people are standing behind her, watching her, expecting their investment in her to pay off. And Magi's afraid of disappointing them. And this fear is what makes her terrifying.
That's what I've realized was this X factor that I had. It was fear and anxiety. When I have those two things, when I compete, I'm a monster now. When I'm scared to lose my stocks, and when I feel the pressure of losing my stocks, that's when my brain like really gets immersed into the game, and where all of those things that I've learned over the past years, that's when they really come out. I prosper when I'm afraid.
Magi is fearless. Not like Mango, not like None. To be yourself with the knowledge that if you are, your family would reject and abandon you, and to do it anyway, that's a bravery few possess. Magi challenged her gender, heteronormative culture, her family, and her family's faith. She carries the support and dynasty of Taylor, Howard, Kalindi, the state of Louisiana Smash, and the LGBTQ+ community with her. She is not, nor will she ever be, alone. I think twice about entering the ring with someone like that. You might outplay her, but you will never defeat her. Because Magi is the future of Melee.
And he was telling, and Magi talk a lot about Falco stuff, and he told me that Magi plays on a rhythm, like roughly 132 BPM. But if you watch her play, she'll like laser every beat.